So I'm sure actually you very well on your 2023 and you're actually wondering, so what is going to be the year like today for you, right? And also, how is it going to be now for the energy market? Because we know that 2022 has been really much a turning point, right? The main thing happened. Most of it was actually the energy crisis. But how is it going to be for 2023? I just wanted to actually take some time to go through that with you and give you my impression, right? And based on that, you can see what is that you think, and we can go ahead, right? Excellent. I just want to first of all reintroduce myself very quickly because I know that some of you may not know me, come to me for the first time. So my name is Tony Chiu. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa, and we are your global clean energy champion. So our job is very much simple here: is to market they did do better, right? So make sure that miss that sector for you, and we give you that all right wide view of what the sector it's all about, right? And that's great. And actually, we want to talk to investors who's saying that we want to invest into the sector, but we're missing some crucial piece of information. We believe that we have the answer for you. What you simply have to do is just watch one of the many videos that we've done on our channel, and I'm sure you're going to get a better response. But we also want to talk to the entrepreneur, the businessman, right? Who's saying that I like to find a way how my group can contribute to this energy transition, to contribute, like I say, to this changing world and see what we can do. But we're missing again the information. Yeah, what can we do? Definitely here as well. So we have the information that we're looking for. You simply have to watch one of our video, and I'm sure you're going to find at least a couple that will speak to you. We also want to talk to the professional, whether you are in the sector or looking to get in the sector, but looking for more information so you can expand your career. You can get a little bit more knowledgeable and to know how you actually sort of plan your move ahead. In here as well, you're going to get all the information you're looking for. And there's three things that we want you to do for us, right? The first thing, as I say, just connect to our platform. We actually broadcast for multiple platforms. You can pick and choose whichever one you want. We have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Telegram, whichever one you fancy. Just make sure that you connect. And when you connect to them, for example, on YouTube, you want to click on the bell notification just to obviously just to make sure that whenever we have a new video, you are aware of it, right? That's what I want you to do. The second thing is for you to leave a message. If you have a questions, if you have a message, if you want to just pass on a specific comment, just drop a comment. Let us know what you think about it. We're actually reading all of it, and we make sure that we're addressing as much as possible all of them, right? If there are some that we've not done, I apologize in advance. Just keep on doing it because we are actually very busy, but keep on doing it, and we will ultimately make sure that we reply to you, right? And the third piece of information, no, the third piece of action I want you to do is simply to share this video. Share because there are people that will want to have the information but just don't know how to come across it. I know that because I've been there before. So you can help them. We can help them by just simply sharing that. You click on the share button and they get to know that, right? This is actually what I would like to do. Now, as I say, when I come back to it and I'm thinking about it, say, listen, I think we have started the year, right? Many of you are looking at what's going to happen, in the coming 12 months, how things going to move. Especially we've had a 2022 that was actually quite hectic for a number of businesses because we were coming out of COVID. We thought, okay, we're out of the wood, and bang, we had the war. It changed everything. The energy crisis, everything has been shifting, change, inflation going off the roof. It started before, but actually accelerated in 2022. Now, when we come to 2023, it's actually quite funny. I don't know if that you had it, but as I was talking to a few people, so over the Christmas break or period, right? And I was asking them, so what do you think is going to happen for 2023? And I very much actually noticed that the mood was quite pessimistic, right? People were thinking, okay, looking at what we've had for 2022, we think it's going to be a continuation for 2023. And then they were expecting something to happen, something even worse to happen, right? They weren't very confident. So what is it your view? Do you share the same view? Yeah. So basically, based on that, right, I thought it's good to have a review, not a review, let's say an outlook. Yeah, that's what the word is, which is actually the title of what we're likely to see for 2023 and give you some insight for you for your business. It could be useful because if you know that, you can plan ahead, you can anticipate, you can have a budget, yeah, and you also know how to actually position yourself so that you don't lose traction, yeah, compared to your competitors. It is very much important to do so. So that's what I'm going to go. I'm just going to dive into that, right? And obviously, if there is any question, leave me a comment there. I make sure that I respond to that. My resolution for this year is to make sure that we have even more sharper video, maybe shorter, sharper video where we actually go straight to the point. Obviously, I still wanted to engage with you, but we go straight to the point and we want to give you even more value. Make sure that you really understand what it's all about. And do not forget, if there's more questions, do reach out to me, to my team in person, and we definitely will be looking forward to serve you. There's many things we're planning for you for this year, but let's just go one step ahead, isn't it? Okay, that's great. So I want to talk about the sector, right, as a whole. So what is going to happen? We've had a 2022, as I say, that was very, very, I would say, tough for many people to many sense. Business felt it, you know, individual felt it, government felt it, everybody felt it, right? So how is it going to be for 2023, right? So I have been looking at various reports, and what I'm sharing with you, it's sort of I would say a summary of what I've seen and also my feedback, just for you to get an idea. And what I'm talking about here, this is not something you're going to be saying it's only specific to renewables. No, because I usually say for you to better understand what is happening locally, you need to have a better vision of the global picture. Because the global picture, it's what is actually determine how things are moving on the local level, right? Especially for energy, that you need to know because we live in a globalized world, when obviously OPEC is cutting the oil production, it definitely has an impact, right? You can see oil prices going up. If they're going up, it affects everything. It can sort of drive a little bit of inflation. Anyway, I'm not going to drive too much into that because we may want to take uh, a video to sort of explore the relationship a little bit more for those of you who wants to know. But let me just go back to that. So essentially, what we're expecting for the global economy to do the coming 12 months, it actually to see a rise on the level of the global economy, but it won't be a big rise because as you could see, things seems to be going down toward a possible reflection, right? From what I will see, we're definitely thinking about definitely a growth less than 2%. That's what is expected for 2023. In fact, it's closer to the one than the two. Yeah, I have to say, right? And that will be the second year because actually 2022 was already a little bit sluggish because remember, we're coming out of COVID. We thought, hey, that's the time. Things going to accelerate. Then, like I say, we had the energy crisis, sort of pull things back. Yeah. And 2022, I think the global economy grew by barely 1%. That's what we had. And obviously we had, record high prices and a contraction in gas and oil supplies coming from Russia. You all be flowing that news, right? So that's what we believe is going to happen. Basically, a marginal small growth for 2023. Now, how does it reflect into the different source of energy? I'm talking about natural gas, I'm talking about oil, I'm talking about gas, I'm talking about renewables, obviously, right? So for natural gas, if I want to start with that, yeah. So because this is something a lot of people are talking about, and I can see as I'm talking to you right now, I can see somebody has dropped me a question. Hey, Natasha, brilliant. I love seeing your questions. What I'm gonna do, Natasha. So if that's okay with you, I'm just gonna run through presentation that I had, so what I prepared for you. And after that, I make sure that I respond to your question. But let me first of all say thank you very much. I love seeing people engaging, contributing. That is fantastic. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Natasha. Just stay tuned, right? So we're going to be together for the next 15-20 minutes and I give you those insights. I respond to your question and after that it's good. But what you can do already, Natasha, for me, you can already start sharing that information, right? And that'd be good because you've done already the one of the two things, which is to comment. I like it. I love it. I respond to that. Hopefully, you also will sign up also to all our platform. There's the 5 that I mentioned. But after that, I'm hoping that you're going to share. But let me just carry on as I was saying. So for natural gas, what we expect to see, so natural gas is sort of a mixed picture, right? So we're expecting natural gas to stay flat for 2023, right? But this is coming, so the flat nature coming from the fact that in Europe, we're expecting actually a decline, because as you know that Europe tends to move a little bit more, accelerate a little bit more into the towards energy transition. So it's about coming off of fossil fuel more into renewables. But because of the crisis, basically they've been putting a little bit of brake into the off, let's say the offset, or let's say the reliance on fossil fuel. They were sort of disconnecting themselves progressively from that. Obviously, they've had to slow down the brakes that because of the energy crisis that happened. So the natural gas consumption in Europe actually is going to be in decline. So we're talking about something like around 1.7%, yeah, but definitely less than 2%. And about the same as well in North America. In fact, North America is probably going to stay a little bit flat, yeah, from what we could see. And we actually don't expect the gas consumption in Europe to return to the pre-war levels, right? Because of what's happening, it's probably going to take some time before we can get there. So that's what we see for natural gas. So in Europe and North America it's flat. Europe is declining but slightly less than 2%. But in Asia it's the opposite. Yeah, it's going up. Because Asia is taking advantage of that extra gas all of a sudden that Europe, America doesn't want. They're absorbing it, because especially that gas is also coming at a cheaper price. Obviously, when you see that, how would you do it? You're definitely going to jump into it, right? Especially remember, this tends to be that region that is also driving the global growth in the world, right? So it's powering. Even before the war, it was already the Asia, the area of the world that was growing faster than all the others. As you can imagine, that they keep on growing because they have developing nations. They have some giants there. They need to make sure that they provide for their population. They're obviously going to go up. So the gas consumption there is going to probably going up by 2.4% roughly. That is what we are seeing. So that's the mixed picture we see for natural gas. I don't know what you think. So do you see the same thing? Do you have something a different that you're expecting to see? If yes, let me know, and I'm happy to talk about that. So in terms of a coal, because I talked about a natural gas, coal, that's an interesting picture, right? Because coal obviously was going down. Coal is the bad boy, the bad student. Everybody would get rid of coal, right? That's obviously what was happening until we had the war, which clearly was the turning point here. And because of the policy focus now that nations, especially in Europe, have on energy security, coal is benefiting from that, right? So definitely coal for the third year running will actually be increasing, even if it's a small growth. But clearly it's a turning point there, yeah. So clearly people into the coal business, I'm sure they're very, very happy. Yeah. So obviously it's not necessarily great in terms of emission, but that is what we're going to be sowing. So definitely coal going to be benefiting from the situation. So oil consumption, same thing. Yeah. So it's gonna be growing, but it's about same picture that we have for natural gas, in the sense that in Europe it's contracted by 1% because also the economic activity is slowing down, but in Asia is actually going up. And you know as well that the reason is also contracting in Europe is also because a lot of the oil was also coming from Russia because of the ban that's going to be coming into action this year. Clearly is gonna pull back the demand there, at least from Russia. Yeah, because of the embargo on the Russian oil import that will become fully effective. So that's the picture that we pretty much see. So if I just want to summarize that very quickly, I talk about the fact that both from LNG but also oil, what we have is Asia consumption going up, right, by about 1 or 2%, but Europe it's sorry, by more than 2%, both energy and oil in Asia, but in Europe is actually contracting about 1%. That's actually the picture. And in terms of the coal is going slightly up. That's clearly because it's benefiting from the current situation. So the next big source that we can talk about here is obviously renewables, right? So renewables, so clearly already the picture, it was going up. It's gonna keep on going up. That's good news for people like myself, right? So that is great. But again, so there's some specific information that is important to know here. So first of all, let me say that the growth is meant to be about 11%, which is great, right? So that is good because you're gonna have more project coming online, especially from Europe. They're accelerating because they need to compensate for what they have been losing. Yeah. So that is what we're gonna have. So more than 10% growth for especially for solar and wind. And the big beneficiary, this is the thing that you also need to know, which is quite surprising. So yes, Europe will benefit from that, but Asia definitely it's the area in the world where the market is actually growing substantially, especially countries like China, India, Japan, South Korea. So you're gonna so that means as an investor, if you're looking for area where things are growing, I guess you want to go there, right? So, but other regions as well need to understand what's happening there for them to see how they can position themselves to become more attractive because that's what it is. And that's what I've always been saying. So, this is a global market. So, if you think that, okay, people are only going to come to you because, the begging bowl mentality, we're going to ask, no, it's a global market. If I'm an investor, I want to make money, I want to make returns. I'm going to be going where the money is. So, that means if I'm a region, I want to get the investor to come to me. I need to find a way to become attractive so that I can attract this money to come my side as well. That is what I'm talking about here. Yeah. So otherwise, if you don't do that, you'll be surprised to see that, all of a sudden investment is drying up in your region. And I'm going to have a quick word about that. Yeah. Regarding developing nation. But up until now, I'm hoping that things are quite clear with you, clear for you, and that is what I wanted to share. So another thing that I wanted to say, so as we talked about the natural gas situations, we talked about oil, we talked about coal as well, right? So it's the fact that, as I say, so energy crisis as well is pushing up the use of coal, right? Because of the extreme weather condition, right? So things like dry weather that we had, flood situation, because they're putting such a tremendous pressure on the current existing system, right? So causing like wreaking havoc in many places, and it becomes difficult for countries to cope. And because of that, so they have to, fall back to fossil fuel to cope at least on the short term with those situations. So that's how things are increasing for coal. And one thing that is also very interesting here, it's nuclear energy, which is also another beneficiary of the current situation. Because if you remember, especially after Fukushima, so the trend was to move away from nuclear. Definitely, this is one thing that Germany did. They decided, to get off nuclear altogether, right? And they were actually ramping down, shutting down their nuclear power plant. And because of the situations, so the three remaining nuclear power plant that they had that were meant to close for 2022 now going to stay up longer. Why? Because of what's happening Ukraine, Russia, right? And for them to get away from the Russian oil, so invariably they have to do that. And also even in Japan per se, right? Obviously that's where Fukushima happened, right? So they were really wary, getting themselves more into nuclear. But because of the current situation, the inflation, energy crisis, energy security that they feel, so now they are looking at sort of a not accelerating, sort of a relaunching as well, their sectors or the nuclear sector. So which is quite telling, isn't it? Yeah, because the Fukushima, if you may remember, happened more than 10 years ago. It was 2011. Yeah. So now, obviously, they may have to go back to more nuclear reactors. So let's see. But that's something that I'm saying. So clearly, nuclear energy seems to be making a sort of a comeback. And that's sort of thing that I wanted to share with you. The last thing I want to finish with, in terms of just giving you some updates here, it's the developing nation, right? And that is what I wanted to spend at least a couple of minutes on that. Oh, listen, that probably, but I mentioned that because, as I say, so the volatile economic and geopolitical environment, right? Plus the fact that we're having some extreme weather condition, this is likely to shift the public sentiment, in those countries, right? In Europe, in the US, where it happened. And guess what? That's where big part of the money is coming from. It's going to shift the public sentiment, towards, channeling the money towards the climate adaptation, but in their own country as opposed to abroad, right? So this means that this will affect the availability of the global climate finance. Because if this guy keep the money for themselves, so that means developing nation like India, like I don't know, Mozambique, like what could we say, Colombia, yeah, so they will struggle to secure, meaningful commitment, from the rich world to finance their energy transition. That's one thing that you need to know. So that means that the impact of having that is that this country gonna be, I guess, even, you know, uh, struggling even more and connecting themselves even more to dirty fuels like coal, and big slow in moving to energy transition just because of what we're having, especially as well in the African continent, my beloved continent, right? So that's the reality. So climate finance is going to be challenging, yeah, because of the current situation. Because what's happening is people would tend to, first of all, as you know, you all been flying, that's you've seen that, when in the security briefing, yeah, or safety briefing, yeah, say that if something happened, so you want first of all secure your mask for yourself before going to helping other people. That's clearly what we're having right here. So I just want people to understand that. So I do not expect all of a sudden money to start flooding into those developing nations. So they need to know that. So it's time now to start thinking differently. So if you want things to be moving your side, if we want to have more clean energy, in our countries, we need to start thinking differently. But I wanted to give that. So that's just for me a broad overview of what is meant to happen for 2023. So in a nutshell, it's almost like we are in a kind of a still continuation of energy crisis in survival mode. So I just want to summarize and say that we expect the global energy consumption to grow by about 1%, more than 1% in 2023. With economy slowing down, yeah, we're expecting that coal consumption grow to compensate for the gaps in gas supply, and we're expecting that the extreme weather condition will force country to go back into fossil fuel, delaying energy transition. The great news is clearly renewable energy would surge by 11%, but Asia will be benefiting. That's what you want to know. So we mentioned also that nuclear power is going to make a comeback. So and developing nation, as I said, so they need to know that with the current situation we're into, so rich nation would tend to prioritize themselves, money for themselves, for adaptation for themselves before going other people. So bear that in mind and start working at other solutions. So I'm just gonna leave it there. So hopefully it was clear for you, and then I've managed to give you some clarity as to what you can expect going forward for 2023. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask more, and I could respond to that. But let me first of all, as I say, the comment of Natasha was kind enough to send that. As a recent graduate looking to get an opportunity to contribute energy sector, I'm quite worried about the energy, especially oil and gas. Okay. Oh, listen, Natasha. So thank you, and she say thank you. Thank you. That would be great. Okay, excellent. Well, Natasha, like I say, so that's exactly the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, just to give you some understanding of what's going to happen. But the thing is, if you now know that, the question is, what is that you're going to do? Yeah. So that's what I've given you. I'm saying that yes, you can expect fossil fuel to make like a strong comeback. Yeah, definitely some resistance there. That's good for the fossil fuel industry. But renewables just going to keep on pushing ahead. Asia will be benefiting, that's for sure, but it doesn't mean that other region won't as well. But clearly, renewable clearly also will be making big step forward. So it depends now. If you're a recent graduate, how do you position yourself? What are your skills? How can you take advantage? This is how you want to make sure that you stick around, people like myself and other people, making sure that you get to know everything about the sector, position yourself when the opportunity, you can take advantage of that. And yeah, that's what it's all about. And I know that there's many graduates just like you who are scared, right? I remember, 2008, I lost my job. Yeah, it was a similar kind of situation, recessions, it was difficult, so scared. But one of the best things to do is to get access to the right information. Talking about information, we're working about an initiative that I'm hoping to be able to share that soon. But just say that you want to have the right information. And if you want to have right information, how can you take advantage of that? This is what I want you to be thinking about. How can I go ahead? If you know that what's going to happen, you can anticipate, you can make plans and make sure that you better prepare. Yeah, the one that are better prepared, those are the ones surviving. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm just gonna want to keep it short, snappy. Yeah. Because I know you're all very busy, but you can expect more video from us where we're gonna be giving you as much information as possible. But what we want to say, actually, what we're giving you is short. Definitely reach out to us because there's a lot more that we can do. If you want some support with your business, if you want some support uh, with your career, whatever, just reach out. Yeah. So there's various program that we can have, various service that we have, and it could be useful for you. I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah, for me as well personally, I'm just gonna go back to what I do, and then always excited to talk to you, always excited to share feedback, and I'm looking forward to us connecting even more this year, getting your feedback, you telling me what is that you want us to talk about, and also making sure that if you want to also come to the show, be a guest for us to interview, just reach out. We'd be happy to do so. Yeah. So let me just leave it there. And as usual, say have a fantastic Sunday. So enjoy the rest of your day. I see you tomorrow. May the sun be with you. Take care. Bye bye.